So I think we're going to get started. Good evening to everyone who has joined our Hangout for Cameroon. Thank you very much for taking time out to join us this evening so that we can talk about the future of our country. Today, I would like to say to you that I'm extremely proud to be a Cameroonian. I'm extremely proud to be a Cameroonian woman. Today, we were able to participate in a non-violent protest in front of La Quintini Hospital, where Monique Kumate died yesterday with her two twins. And as you probably find out through the internet, this was quite a trauma for Cameroon. This woman and her children are the victims of the Cameroonian health system, and they are one victim too many. So Cameroonians have said it is enough. Let us stop. Let us get rid of this health system. Let us get rid of this government that is really taking our country down to the dregs. So this evening, we're going to talk about Cameroon, our future. What is it that we see in the very short term, notably as concerns the move by the CPDM party and the people, the regime in power, the move to try to modify the constitution of Cameroon in order to have early elections. So you may ask yourself the question, why? Why would the party in power, why would the regime want to have early elections? It is very simple. There are several factors, all of them which combine to create a risk for the regime to lose its power within the next 2 years. And it is that risk that is pushing CPDM people to try to modify our constitution once again, just to keep Paul Biya in power. So what are these risks? First, there are economic risks. Cameroon, the economy is doing very badly, and the average man is feeling it in his pocket. And all the economic indicators show that things are going to get worse before they get any better. So the party in power is afraid that this situation may push Cameroonians to become so disgruntled that either they don't vote for the party in power or they actually make the move to get rid of them as a regime. The second element is very similar. It is the social tensions in the country. Right now, this is the second hangout we are doing today. We did the first hangout in French. We had to do it in the dark because there was no electricity at that time. So electricity shortages are getting worse in Cameroon. Water shortages are getting worse. And then we see this lack of basic services as we have just experienced with our health system. So all of that is making the regime feel that Cameroonians may decide that they want to throw this regime out and will no longer be able to allow them to conserve their power. So because of that, they want to modify the constitution. I want us to be clear. The single reason, there's only one reason for modifying the constitution, and that is to keep Paul Biya and his regime in power. Nowhere in the world and for no job would you be considering an 83-year-old man who has done that same job for 34 years and who has failed woefully at that job. Nowhere else in the world will you be considering that that same person should come and do the job again. But this is exactly what the CPDM is trying to sell to us. Their objective is to modify the constitution. They have put a few things there which they think will be attractive to us as Cameroonians. They say, oh, we will bring the mandate down to 5 years, or we will put a limitation on presidential mandates and limit it to 2 mandates. But the question is, these same people changed that constitution in 2008 exactly to remove the term limits and to remove and to lengthen the mandate from 5 years to 7. What has changed since 2008 and today to ask them for them to come now to be wanting to change the constitution to put back the things in it which they took out? The simple answer is that they want to put in early elections, and they think that by having early elections, they can conserve their position. So we as Cameroonians say no. As we say in the CPP, the time is now. The CPDM has showed us its hand. What they have, the plan they have for us is for all of them as a clique to die in power. And we say, no, we can no longer continue. We can no longer continue on a road of poverty. We can no longer continue on a road of bad health, bad education, no infrastructure, nothing to make the Cameroonian entrepreneur feel that he or she can succeed. We can no longer continue on this route and power to the CPDM. So the CPP, our party, is calling on you. It's calling on you to work with us so that we put a stop to this constitutional hold up which the CPDM wants to operate. We have shown it today by coming out for this protest for Monique Kutami. If we can do it for the health system, we can do it for the country. So Cameroonians right now need to be preparing themselves, getting themselves ready. One, make your voice heard. Stand up and speak. Speak through the internet, speak through the radio, speak through the television, speak through your association or your political party, but say something. Let the world know that we do not agree with what the CPDM is doing. That is point number one. Number two is that we should make sure that we come together. Join us as a political party. If you don't want to work with the CPP, join another political party. We will still be working together. Join a civil society organization, but make sure you join a group that has as its objective stopping this constitutional modification and getting this regime out so that we can start to build Cameroon, so that we can put in place the political transition for Cameroon. The political transition which would enable us to, one, review our constitution, because the constitution does need to be reviewed, but not with this regime, not in the objective of keeping one man in power. So we must get rid of them so that we can do a true review of the constitution and build up the foundation of Cameroon. This is what we are requesting from you. Stand, speak up, join a group, and most importantly, let's work together and keep in mind that in the coming days, in the coming weeks, we will be asking you to take action. We will be asking you to stand up for Cameroon. Cameroon needs you. Cameroon needs you and I to stand up for it so that finally, as a nation, we can take our place in the global concept of nations. So I'm going to stop there for right now. And I think I'm going to open it up if you have some questions, if you have some concerns, and certainly if you have some ideas of what we can and should do to attain this objective. It is together that we are going to be able to meet this objective. So I will take a few questions from you. Good evening. Thank you very much. I am getting a good evening from Baba Dodo. Good evening to you. Thank you very much. Do we have any questions, comments, or concerns? So it looks like there are very few questions. I will continue then to talk to you a little bit practically about what it is that you can do. So first and foremost, what you can do, as I have said, is to use the channels of communication that you control. That is your internet, your Twitter, your Facebook, your email. Please talk about Cameroon at least once a day. Once every day from now on, please talk about Cameroon and ask Cameroonians to stand up for their country. Please tweet out, make a post to say that you do not agree with this modification of the Constitution. I see I have some questions coming up, so I'm going to go to the questions before I continue. There's a question here from Innocent Jofa. Please, Madam, when you say we need to change the Constitution, is it not a way of giving credit to the action that is being taken now? So, Innocent, I have said that we cannot and we must stop the action that is being taken now. That action is an action which has as its objective to keep Mr. Biya in power. Yes, when we say we need to change the Constitution, we ourselves as the CPP and many other political parties, we have some suggestions. We do want certain changes to be made, but we believe that that must be made in the spirit of the Constitution as the foundation document of our nation. The Constitution is the contract between me and you, Innocent, between you and all of the other 23 million Cameroonians that we are. So we cannot be making constitutional modifications in the spirit of keeping one man in power. So yes, some changes need to be made to that constitution, but we say those changes will be made after we have gotten rid of the CPDM. We can no longer trust the CPDM. The CPDM has betrayed us. This regime has betrayed us. They betrayed us in 2008 when they changed this constitution, and we cannot allow them to do it again. In 2008, they changed it to keep Mr. Biya in power, and 8 years later, in 2016, they want to change it to keep Mr. Biya in power. We say no. When we are ready as a nation to rewrite our constitution, to put into place a new foundation, this is what we call the political transition, and it will only start after we have gotten rid of Mr. Biya. We cannot do a political transition with him in place. So thank you very much for your question. Okay, so thank you, Guga. Guga is just giving a comment of thanking for courage, and thank you for your courage and resilience. The current constitution of Cameroon puts tremendous power in the hands of the president. Do you think the next president would like to change this constitution? Why not let Biya clear part of his? So, as we have said, there are changes to be made in the constitution, but these changes cannot be made by the current regime. They cannot be made by the CPDM parliament. They cannot be made by the people who have no objective for Cameroonians. They are unable to give us water to drink. They are unable to give us electricity. They are unable to give us health. They are unable to give us roads. We cannot entrust them with the most foundational document of the nation, because what they will do is manipulate it to keep Mr. Biya in power. I'm not interested in having this government and this parliament modify that constitution. They have done it once before, and they put us, if you look at Cameroon in 2008 and you look at us today, things have gotten drastically worse. So I would like you to join us. All of us as Cameroonians, we have to join together to stop this modification. We must take our destiny back into our own hands. We are a great country. We are a rich country. We are a country that should be reckoned with, not only in Central Africa, but on the entire continent and in the world. We have the capacity to do that, but we must get rid of this regime so that we can start to build that type of Cameroon, which we call in the CPP the Cameroon leader, Cameroon that is leading the way. So I have some more questions here. Baba Dodo asking, can you tell us about what happened at Lakentini? So we have yesterday, a Cameroonian woman, her name was Monique Hutame. She was pregnant. She went to a state hospital. That state hospital, for some reason that we do not know or understand, was unable to deliver her. They sent her to Lakentini. It is unclear whether she died before getting to Lakentini or whether she died at Lakentini. But the point is that reaching Lakentini, she was poorly received. The impression was that while she was there, her children were still living. This impression was given by Lakentini staff, but they did not then proceed to take her as an urgent case and to operate on her. They sent this woman back and forth between the different services, to the point where her family became so desperate, and that now her sister decided to operate on her right on the veranda of the Lakentini maternity. This has created a huge scandal in Cameroon. Cameroonians are upset. Cameroonians say no more, we cannot stand for this anymore. And I am very proud to say that we came out in numbers today. Just a few hours ago, we were in front of Lakentini, hundreds of us as Cameroonians protesting and saying no. No, we cannot continue with this health system. No, we cannot continue with this regime. No, we cannot continue with Mr. Biya. And we believe that this is the start. We have only begun. We will continue. So this is a start. And I think it's a message for every Cameroonian who was not there to get ready. Get ready, because now we are moving. We are moving on the dynamic to get rid of this government. So I have another question from Innocent. Innocent says, thank you so much for your clarification. I can understand that the objective of this hangout is mainly about stopping the modification. Can you tell us more about how you see Cameroon in 20 years under your leadership? Thank you very much for that question, Innocent. I hope not in 20 years. I hope that we are closer to making a change than that. But our political project, I will not say mine, because I work in a team in the party with the rest of my colleagues, and we developed a manifesto, a political view of Cameroon. We developed it together. It is called Cameroon Leading the Way. So how do we see Cameroon? First of all, we see Cameroon as a democracy. We see Cameroon as a democracy with 3 equal branches of power. That is, the executive must have power, but the legislative, our dream, what we see for Cameroon is a completely different type of legislature. We see a legislature that is powerful, that is capable of calling government order, that is capable of investigating and demanding why citizens are not getting services. We see a legislature that can propose laws and make changes in the country which are beneficial for citizens. We also see a judiciary that is truly independent, carrying out justice in Cameroon in such a way that every Cameroonian feels that I have access to justice in my country. If somebody violates my rights or violates the law, I can go as a Cameroonian and enter the judicial system and get justice. So that is in terms of our political institutions. We see Cameroon as a democracy with credible elections. Elections where whenever somebody is elected, we know that yes, this is the person that the power, people have given the power to, have given the mandate to. So this means reviewing our electoral code and our electoral system. This means putting into place true political freedoms. As you know, today, political parties are not free in Cameroon. We must have true political freedoms for political parties, but also for individuals, so that we can have a true democracy. Then I will talk just a little bit about our economy. We see Cameroon as an economic powerhouse in Central Africa and on the continent as a whole. As you know, Cameroon is placed very strategically. Our geostrategic position is excellent. So we see Cameroon as that country that produces to sell to big markets in our region, like Nigeria, like Democratic Republic of Congo, like Sudan. So we see Cameroon as that powerhouse which can provide industry, which can provide services, which uses its bilingual nature to an advantage to take economic leadership in the region. We have a very complete program, a very a program that has a lot of elements about it, in it, about job creation, about how we transform the informal sector. Our informal sector is so vibrant, with so many entrepreneurs, with so many people doing so well, but that sector is completely ignored by this government. We can take that sector and transform it and move it slowly into the formal sector, creating decent jobs, creating wealth for the entrepreneurs in that sector, and enabling them to become competitive, not only in the Cameroonian economy, but in the African economy and in the global economy. And finally, because I know many of you are from the diaspora, for us, we have a vision of a country that is developed with the diaspora as a key partner. We can make it easy for the diaspora to build in Cameroon. We don't have to go far. Countries like Ghana have done it. We can make it easy for the diaspora to invest in Cameroon. We know that many of you would like to have economic ventures and entrepreneurship ventures in Cameroon. We can make it easy for the diaspora to contribute. In the CPP program, we have a program which is like, it is something similar to the Peace Corps, except that it is diaspora coming back to Cameroon to provide services in education, in health, in administration for a 1-year period, a 2-year period, where government would house them, government would provide them with facilities so that they can do their work. So we have many, many ideas. We are dreaming of this Cameroon that is leading the way, of Cameroon that is taking its place in the concert of nations. We have a job to do first. We have a job to do first, which is to get rid of the government in place so that we can begin to build this Cameroon. And every day counts. Every day is important. So I have a question here from Elmadas Kenya, who says, Cameroonians have to take action to stop the modification of the constitution, even if it is forcefully modified. So, madam, what are some of the actions we Cameroonians can carry out? So, we have said it will be very important for you, for all of us as Cameroonians. One, make your voice heard. Do your Facebook post, do your Twitter post, write an article, talk about this constitutional modification with your friends. Very important. Secondly, join a group. It is important to join a group of people who are already working towards this objective. There are many groups. We would like you to join the CPP if you would like to do so. However, if you don't want to join the CPP, join another group. All of us are working together and we will attain the objective together. So we ask that you join a group, a political group, a civil society group, or even individuals. We are very happy to see initiatives by individuals to stop this modification and to move us into political transition. So these are some of the things that you can do. And finally, I say, please be ready and be on the lookout, because as Cameroonians, we are going to need to go out onto the street. We are going to need to protest. We may need to wear specific colors on specific days to show that we do not agree with what is going on. So these are some of the things that you will need to do, and we ask that you begin today. Don't wait, because our time is very short. This constitutional modification is likely to come up in the first or second week of April. So we must mobilize now. We must be on the move to be able to stop this modification. So right now, those are the questions that we have. I am still online. If you have other questions, if you have other points that you would like to have answered, we'll be very happy to do so. I'm going to take just a 2-minute break to get a glass of water. I'll be right back in 2 minutes. Okay, we are back. Sorry about that. We have some technical difficulties. We are challenged both with the internet speed and with electricity in Cameroon right now. And so we had a little bit of a challenge there. Thank you very much for taking time out to participate in this hangout. I will just double check whether there were any final questions that anybody had. Please feel free to ask a final question. I think we're going to be wrapping things up within the next 5 to 10 minutes. So if you have any additional question, if you have any other point that you would like to make, please feel free to ask that question. Oh, thank you. There's a question by Guga, who says, thank you. In my last question, I omitted his mess. That is Bia clearing his mess at its end. And he says, please, in what ways do you think Cameroonians are prepared for a drastic change towards justice, democracy? Cameroonians at all levels seem to benefit from the absence of these. So, Huga, I want to reassure you, Cameroonians are surviving in the system that has been given to them. They are just surviving. It may look like everybody is benefiting from the system, but believe you me, most of us are victims of this system. You know, even if you are able to, let us say, through corrupt means, get a contract from government, if you don't have water in your house, if you don't have electricity in your house, that money is not good for anything. If you cannot go to a hospital and expect to get health services, that money is not good for anything. So I think that what we need to do is to help this change come about. I am certain that Cameroonians will adapt to a new system of justice and democracy. Cameroonians are ready to have water, electricity, light, and health care, education for their children, which is of good quality. I think that the trade-off from having some small benefits of corruption as compared to having a decent lifestyle, most Cameroonians will make that trade-off very easy. So I know that for many people, it looks like the whole country is corrupt, but I can guarantee you that the vast majority of Cameroonians are simply victims of this system. So there is another question here. What is the problem with electricity and water that is currently being faced by Cameroonians? So it is important just to note that the Cameroonian government has not made the investment in infrastructure for the last 20 to 25 years. They have not invested in the infrastructure for water. They have not invested in infrastructure for electricity. So we now see them trying to catch up in the last 3 to 4 years. But unfortunately, one, the population has grown, so the demand for these services is much stronger than anything that they had before. But two, also, the internal management system of this regime is not able to set an objective, follow up and monitor that objective, and get results and see what they did well, what they did not do well, and improve. These simple elements of management that you and I are using within our organizations every day, this regime is not able to do. And that is why, in spite of a lot of noise about grand realization and grand projects, they have been unable to achieve much. They have been unable to achieve the investments in infrastructure of electricity and water. And today, Cameroonians who are not living in the big cities, many of them have forgotten about electricity. Cameroonians who are living in the big cities, we get electricity intermittently. Just a few hours ago, we had no electricity for from about 5 p.m. to about 7:30 p.m. Some places it goes for the whole day. Yesterday it was off for 7 to 8 hours. So, and we never know when it is going, when it is coming back. So this again is causing so many hazards to health. It is causing so many problems for health workers, for people who are in situations where they desperately need water and electricity. So I think that makes the round of the questions that we have received. I am very thrilled to have been able to exchange with you this evening, and this is the first of many hangouts. We will continue to do hangouts, we will continue to inform Cameroonians, and we'll continue to engage you. As we say in the CPP, the time is now. The time is now for you, the time is now for me. We must stand up within the next days, within the next weeks, within the next months, and carry our beloved Cameroon to that successful place, that place of justice, democracy, prosperity that all of us are dreaming of, and that we are very able to get to. So thank you very much for participating. Let us remain strong. Let us remain active. The country, Cameroon, is ours. We are going to take it back and build a new Cameroon, a Cameroon that is leading the way for ourselves. Thank you and have a very good evening.